Hi there, my name is Max Prescott and I'm here to do a presentation on the effects of media in sport and the effects of media in rugby in particular. Okay, to begin, media is a broad statement in the sporting world, as the word can often be attributed to an array of facets within it. As suggested, Nicholson et al. Firstly mediates that the media refers to the means of mass communication such as television, radio, newspapers or the internet. Secondly, it refers to those employed within organisations such as televisions and, not televisions, but television stations, or newspapers such as the journalists or editors. The ever-developing world of technology and media, either it be mobile phones, social media, or the new virtual reality devices we're seeing today, has certainly changed the way we experience all aspects of sport. This is due to the media and sport being intrinsically connected by a nexus, meaning that over the 20th century, developments in media and sport have resulted in them being inextricably bound together. Cheng Hao Ma suggests that undoubtedly one of the biggest developments in media and technology that dwarfs all others is that of the internet, and most importantly, that of social media. And there are various social media platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, Instagram and Twitter. Ice cream van, if you can hear that. Individuals can use such social media platforms extremely conveniently in their daily lives, hence why social media has developed into such a vital tool for dispensing content and attracting new viewers, as well as developing more participation. These social media devices have impacted sports in many different forms, most notably in communications of the sport and the sports marketing. Ma states it can be argued that social media is one of the most important developments for sports as the sports enthusiast and the athletes. The social media tool lends itself so well to sport, as it is widely known. The usage of social media has grown exponentially since the inception in the early 2000s. Social media has lent itself to sport so intrinsically that people can actively engage in the sport through Discord and follow their chosen athletes or teams, as well as being able to get frequent updates of sports events. As well as social media being a benefit to sports spectators, it is also just as prevalent for sports organisations. Excuse me. The benefits of using social media is that it can aid sports organisations to establish strong relationships with the public by having a platform to converse, as well as the platform being a purposeful tool to reduce their marketing costs, as advertising on social media is dramatically less expensive than more traditional media such as television, yet it can still reach just as many people, if not more. Organisations can utilise social media to encourage two-way conversations between the fans of the sport and through this build a community on social media. Following on from these points, social media has got a desirability as a crucial means for linking directly with sports fans. For individual fans, social media is an imperative device to network and share ideas and information with other individual sports fans, which in turn fuels the fan base, as well as giving fans the opportunity to engage with sports organisations directly. As previously mentioned, the benefits of social media are apparent for both sports organisations and fans, yet the athletes of the sport can also benefit from using social media. Similarly, for the organisations, the athletes can utilise the platforms to connect with their fans directly, as well as be able to build a personal brand for themselves, and in doing so, promote. A good example would be Ronaldo, who has an exponential media following and probably has a bigger media following than most of the teams he's played for. When likened to more traditional media, it is clear to see that modern social media costs far less to carry out activities. However, it is apparent it does so more effectively and more efficiently and even more consistently. Social media has such efficiency as something as simple as one post on social media per day can make an athlete or an organisation in his or her fan base's sites, it'll make them seem as though they're active, just constantly uploading, even if it's only one daily post, which in turn brings the corresponding monetary benefits. Overall, new developments in media have demonstrated just how effective they can be when implemented correctly, and that new media is still at its early stages and will surely continue to develop, and the engagement of social media throughout the sports environment is one of the most substantial tools in promotion and interaction. With all the developments in sport, Nicholson et al. Suggest that the implementation of media has overall transformed sport from an amateur pursuit to a hyper-commercialised industry. Now, to analyse more specific examples of media in the development of sport, as well as the effect of such developments have had on one sport in particular, and that sport is rugby and the Rugby Football Union. Stated by Nicholson et al., originally sports organisations such as the RFU were once cautious of the impact that media broadcasting would have on live attendance to the games, whereas now media and sport converge into a nexus as previously discussed. Television has had a drastic impact on rugby, as the BBC, one of the main providers for the sport, covering the sport on average of 20 hours per week of rugby. ITV, along with the BBC, have now also got exclusive television rights as they obtained broadcasting rights for the Rugby World Cup. This is good for the sport and for the spectators of the sport, as the BBC and ITV are available through various devices. For example, using the development of the internet, there is access to television channels through either a laptop, a mobile or a tablet. This permits there to be extra views for the sport, as they don't have to watch the sport at a specific time and date. The BBC can also provide an online provider. That doesn't make any sense. The BBC also provides an online provider which allows people to match the live match online, so streaming essentially. Bit of weird jumbo there. TV has had one of the biggest effects on rugby. Excuse me. And TV has had one of the biggest effects on rugby, as more people are able to watch it and therefore find an interest in the sport, and as a result may increase the participation in the sport itself. Rugby being broadcasted helps the sport become popular and well known, and gives people a chance to watch the sport where they might not have had the chance otherwise. The rugby matches that are televised also aids in the betterment of the athletes, the clubs, and the betterment of the equipment, as the televised exposure gives them capital gains. Through television, the sport can also utilise pay from the sponsors, as the rugby teams can wear sponsored logos on their shirts and other equipment, which in turn gets exposure on television. As discussed previously, the internet is becoming more influential to the sports industry, which is also true when it comes to influencing rugby. Because the internet is so readily available now and everyone can utilise it to get their voices heard, and in turn start a discussion with others regarding the details of the game and giving their views on the play, managers, referees, etc., anything they want to talk about. There are various fan sites, there are various discussions about the latest game, broadcasting both positive and negative discussions of the sport itself. However, in turn, any press is good press, I suppose. The internet can also aid smaller clubs and teams become more notorious and help grow their marketing revenue by giving the clubs a chance to utilise the internet's more forgiving platform of marketing, and can easily find sponsors for their websites or social media pages. The internet also affects live television views, as more people can simply bring up a live stream, as mentioned before, of the game, so they don't have to sit down at a specific time and watch the game there and then. Another key development is the development of sponsorship over the years has seen sports such as rugby transform. This new wave of capital has created a much more streamlined and mainstream sport. Huge tournaments in the world of rugby is that of the Six Nations, and one of the largest sponsors for the Six Nations is surprisingly the RFU itself. And through the sponsorship, they enable the Six Nations more broadcasting revenue due to a new contract between the two, which is for 4 years. And the deal itself is estimated to be worth 40 million, and the RFU have made 16 million in profits already. The development for the sport have come a long way. Now to see what the RFU has in store for future developments of its sport. In the RFU's strategic plan, they plan to use technology to leverage competitive advantage, which will keep pace with marketing developments to provide effective technology platforms and capabilities. They will have to create an environment to embrace innovation in technology. This will be done by identifying and seizing new opportunities through technology, placing the customer at the heart of the technology strategy. The RFU will also invest in data capture and analysis. This will achieve deeper insights and will support decisions. One of the keys to using technology successfully is to provide a better experience for fans. The RFU will plan to enhance the experience of fan watching rugby at home, on the move, or mainly at Twickenham. This will be a great opportunity to interact and engage with fans a lot more. In 2017, the England Rugby Union released a diversity and inclusion plan. This was a 4-year plan that would last until 2021. The aims of the strategic plan was to be England's strongest sport and being underpinned by good governance, which will increase investment in the game and drive elite and overall participation. The other aim is to be the world's leading rugby nation. This means having the best teams in the world at different levels and delivering the best rugby events and competitions in the global calendar. To achieve both of these aims and developments within the governing bodies regarding media and new technologies need to be made. Eagleman 2016 stated that sports organisations and athletes can communicate messages via traditional and also new media channels. This can be done through advertising of an organisation or an athlete, or organisation created communication such as brochures, newsletters, web content or online videos, or even television videos for that matter. This is a very important factor that can help the RFU in achieving their aim of delivering the best events and competitions, making the competitions very well known, and promoting the organisations and elite level athletes through the use of media. Excuse me, too much coffee. Covell and Walker, 2013, says that the technology has transformed every sport organisation's environments in regards to manufacturing, communication, and information process. The RFU has already been affected by and changed as an organisation due to technology, and this will only continue to grow and change. The RFU needs to keep updated with technological advancements, in particular social media, to increase and promote awareness of the sport, to get more participants involved, and to increase the following of the elite level sport. Excuse me again. Another area of new technology that must be used in future developments of the sport's governing body is social media. Social media have been increasingly used by sports organisations to communicate with the public, as previously mentioned. The RFU needs to become very good at utilising social media and increasing fan engagement to achieve their aims and to promote the sport. To summarise, it is clear that rugby and professional sport in general will not be able to exist in its present state without the symbiotic relationship with the media, and in some ways has become dependent on the media, as the media coverage of any given sport is directly proportional to how much revenue said organisation can produce from its broadcasting. Okay, so thank you for taking the time to hear about the effects of media and sport and rugby itself, and I hope you've learned something new. Thank you very much.